While my Tobii Eye Tracker 5 has done a great job immersing me into my aircraft's cockpit, it is time to take this party to the next level with the Pimax Crystal Super, one of the best VR headsets for both flight and racing simulators. Hey guys, Emils here, and today I'll give you my first impressions with the headset, both good and bad. And after the video, please leave any questions you might have in the comments about this headset and the VR experience in general, because I want to help you decide if this is the right fit for you. Alright, let's get into it. Pimax has a very nice and simple packaging design. The headset comes with two controllers, a box filled with cables you will need for using the headset as well as charging the controllers, even a microfiber cloth to clean the lenses. There's also another softer faceplate which I actually ended up using. Honestly, it is bigger than I expected, but let's see if this is actually any good. The physical setup is quite straightforward. There's a 5-meter long cable that comes out of the headset, and you just have to plug a couple of things into your PC. Plug the DisplayPort cable into your GPU and not in your motherboard. Plug the USB into a USB port. It is important that it's not a USB 2.0 port or it might not work. And then in this little junction box, you have to plug in the included power box and the other side into an electrical socket. Now you just have to download Pimax Play and you can continue setting up your headset. The most time-intensive part is to get all of your game settings to what you need. Pimax has a good blog post for DCS, which I will leave in the description, where you can see their recommendations for DCS World, which is a good place to start. Honestly, I had to build a new PC for this, and it is quite a strong build, but this headset is also very hungry. I will make a video about this rig, and go more in depth about building a PC for DCS World and VR, as well as content creation later, so make sure to subscribe so you don't miss it. Now I couldn't actually wait to try the setup, so I tried it out on my old PC first, and the first thing I did was taxiing the Harrier. It was such a pleasure to finally see the Harrier cockpit in 3 dimensions, and it is much smaller and much larger than I expected. The cockpit does not have a lot of space, but looking outside your cockpit, you are so far off the ground. The plane is so big. And just going forward and braking is the first time I could feel motion sickness. Because while in my vision I start and stop moving, physically I'm still in my chair and sitting still, so the brain gets mixed signals and makes me feel sick. For everyone it's different. Some people get motion sick every time, some people strap on a headset and don't even care. Believe me, I gave it to multiple friends to test and those were the results. Now on the new rig I actually took the Chinook out for a trial and started learning it in VR, and it has been a pleasure. From startup to flying low and fast across Syria. It makes it feel like you're in an actual aircraft, and when taking off and landing, you feel your altitude much more. And you almost get more finesse while flying. Now, my rig also helps this with the beautiful Whirlpool Rotor Plus Collective and Hawk 60 grip, as well as the Mose AB9 base, which makes the trim perform realistically and improves the immersiveness even more. Now, again, a big thing is having to adjust your graphics and your PC settings to get every possible FPS. Now, I could turn on quad views, which will use eye tracking to blur out your peripheral vision and only render the center of your vision fully. But as a DCS content creator, I will likely not be using it, because let's be honest, you are less likely to watch a video that looks like this. Something surprising about the VR experience is also how my brain is willing to give up nice looks for the VR performance. In VR, you don't really feel the lack of quality as much as you do on flat screen. It might just be me, but for me the 3D space is enough to make up for the lack of pretty trees and buildings. And in quad views you don't even notice the pixely parts of the quad view, because it literally is in your peripheral vision, which is already blurry. Comparing flat screen to VR, there are 2 main things that are different: situational awareness and ease of use. On flat screen, or in my case curved screen, you can get a wider FOV, at least compared to this specific Crystal Super configuration. I have the 57 ppd variant, which gives the lowest FOV of 106 degrees out of the 3 Crystal Super options, but gives you better image clarity. On flat screen you can zoom in and out depending on what you need. If you do that in VR, you're going to throw up. Do not recommend. Now that also brings me to ease of use using the VR headset. I can look around the cockpit and surrounding area just like you would have to do in real life, which is great for immersion, but you have to have this box on your head, and after you have finished using it, you need somewhere to keep it, and since it's quite inconvenient for me to plug everything in and out, I'd rather just have less desk space and keep it right on my desk. But this does cause conflicts with other activities. With a Tobii Eye Tracker, you will have to at times be looking at your screen from less comfortable positions, but you can just get up and sit down at your desk with barely any extra space being taken up. While I'm not playing DCS, I have actually spent quite a lot of time in Beat Saber. What is Beat Saber? Well, imagine a Guitar Hero, but you're a Jedi and you have to hit these boxes in sync with the music. very entertaining for both me and my girlfriend, and while yes, your face does get a bit sweaty, I don't feel the weight of the headset on my face that much, especially after swapping out these inserts. How does this relate to DCS? Not much, but it probably trains coordination and reaction skills, and if you get a VR headset, you likely want it to be somewhat versatile, so you can use it more and your whole family can have fun. By the way, if you double tap on the headset, it goes into see-through mode, so you can see your surroundings. This is a good feature to find your controllers or just as a safety when moving around more. While the Crystal Super does cost a pretty penny, there's also the Pimax Crystal White for cheaper and lower end rigs. And right now you can use code DCS1XMAS for 10% off the Crystal White headset, or use code DCS1XMAS25 to get 3% off the Crystal Super plus DMAS audio bundle from now until Christmas. I know the 3% off doesn't sound like a lot, but actually makes a pretty big dent on this headset. I will leave links to these headsets in the description. VR quite literally changes the way you play the game. While it can get off to a rocky start, you can get so much more immersed into your aircraft, and I for one absolutely feel at home when I could finally see how big the Harrier cockpit is. This is a new experience for me, and I'm still finding the best way to use it as well as the best way to showcase and review it. So again, I want you to leave your questions in the comments, so I can create the review for this headset and understand what you are curious about in VR. Alright, that's it for me, and I'll see you guys next time. Bye!